Hey guys, it's me, Ellie, aka Looks from the Crypt, and today we are in my car. And why are we in my car? We're in my car because we're at the movie theater. Gonna go see SKINAMARINK. This has been one of my most anticipated releases for like a hot minute, ever since I heard about it. And if you're not familiar with SKINAMARINK, it is like a new Arthouse movie that's gained like a lot of traction and hype on the internet, mostly just because it's been massively pirated after there was a leak. However, we're finally to the date of its official release, and I am absolutely ecstatic to be able to support this movie, and it's supposed to be coming to Shudder soon too. And I am talking to you. If you, on the other side of the screen, pirated this movie, I highly recommend you go see it in theaters to have that theater experience. If you said, fuck that movie sucked, fucking buy your friend to take it so they can determine if they like it or not, and still support it. Put your money forward, because this was like a very independent release made on basically like as micro of a budget I fucking have ever heard of. And even when it hits Shudder, hit that play button, let it fucking play in the background or something, just so that it gets that stream to get that sweet moolah. So here we are at the theater. If you want to find out about what's in this house, come with me. So, first impressions, we just got out of the theater, and personally, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I recognize this is probably a movie that's not for everyone necessarily. It's definitely a movie for like the weird bitches in the back, that kind of vibe, but personally, I loved it, and I'll get more in depth with my full thoughts once I'm home. Okay, so I just got home from seeing SKINAMARINK. I had a moment. I had my first impressions, which you saw, and then I sit and I stewed and I collected my thoughts a little bit of what I thought of this experience overall, especially considering, for me, I believe a movie like SKINAMARINK to be more of a horror experience as opposed to, our typical film that we're used to, which is where I feel like we lost a lot of audiences, because I feel like this is a film that's intended to be one that you're going to let yourself go fully and to allow yourself to fully immerse yourself into this movie and be a part of the experience and the vibe. And with that being said, from what I gathered from watching this movie in the theater, right, and just watching this film, is that I believe that this is a movie that's probably intended to be watched from the comfort of your own home. And I'm really excited to do that once it hits Shudder, to be able to turn off all the fucking lights, be in my fucking blanket.
Let's fucking go, let's watch this movie.
And I feel like that's probably its best setting, especially considering with all the viral hype of this movie and all the, TikTok success, whatever you want to call it, is that there's a lot of people who you'll probably encounter in your theater who have never seen a weird or experimental movie to begin with. Hence, people who have never seen like a movie like Eraserhead, like a David Lynch movie, or like Gummo or something like that, like our most notable weird movies, right? However, these audiences, like, from its mass success, which is fucking awesome. I've never seen a movie this experimental be talked about this widely. However, it opens it up to a whole other audience who's never seen a movie like this, diving in headfirst into SKINAMARINK. And I feel like this movie is so good at capturing like a feeling and making you feel some kind of way, and that feeling is being really small and like you're a child. I feel like the thing that's really interesting about what Kyle Edward Ball does with both Skinamarink and Hack, and then the whole Nightmare series, is that it's able to really effectively capture you and take you to a place that you may know or is a very distant like memory or fear or terror that is like something that you kind of like let go and kind of forgot about it. Like for me personally, it took me back to a place from when I was like very young, like it gave me like the instant like flashback to like watching movies all night as like a child. The fucking VCR stops and I wake up to the blue screen and I feel helpless, alone, and I'm a fucking little kid. And that's what that takes you back to, which is takes like a very innocent fear to being a complete terror, which I absolutely love. And the way this feeling is captured is often captured by like places that a camera normally wouldn't go. And I don't want to say, I know a lot of people have been saying it's like a found footage movie or a POV movie. I don't think that's necessarily true. It has its POV moments, of course. However, again, the camera just tends to go places where you wouldn't expect. The thing about SKINAMARINK, it really effectively uses the tricks in your mind that I feel like maybe as an adult, we don't exercise that creativeness as we did as a kid. Like, we're able to, as an adult, deduce, like, what I'm seeing in the dark is a coat hanger with coats all over it, or, that's this thing or that thing. Whereas as a kid, you're kind of set there in the dark, your vision's kind of blurry, and you're like, what the fuck is that? And it really plays on that a lot, and it just takes you back somewhere. And I don't know. It's one of those things where I'm like, if you didn't get scared as fuck of nothing as a kid, I'm not sure how this will play out for you, but I was certainly that kid because I thought it was fun. And something that this movie does amazingly is being able to, it uses repetition in a way in its favor. Personally, I never got bored of this, and it kind of built on the experience. It uses the repetition of both like seeing these like unconventional spaces or corners of the house that you kind of become to get familiar with, and the same thing with the repetition of sounds and phrases and things like that. And with this repetition, kind of just the way things sound and feel in general, it has this just general dream-like dreariness to it, where everything feels kind of clouded and like you woke up in the middle of the night and you're having this experience, which I feel like is very effective for horror, even as like an adult. Having an experience in the middle of the night when I'm half asleep fucking sucks. So put yourself in that spot as a fucking little kid, and then bada bing, bada boom. Scary. And another reason why I'm like really fucking with this movie in general is just because I can certainly say I've never fucking seen a movie like this. I've never seen a movie that's kind of gone beyond the traditional story, like horror, being kind of, I don't want to say devoid of a story because there's certainly a story there, but a non-linear story that's not really the main focus point. The goal of SKINAMARINK is to capture a feeling, like I had said earlier, capture a vibe and take you somewhere and be a fully immersive experience as opposed to something you're watching. And it wants to involve you in what you're seeing and take you somewhere. And personally, like I said, I've never seen a movie like this, and that's kind of why it lands so high for me right now. And with wrapping up my final thoughts here, I fucking love this movie, which should come to absolutely no surprise. This is just my kind of thing. And like, just to have something both very weird and experimental in addition to being so new and fresh and something I've never seen is kind of like the perfect combo for somebody like me. And I recommend, granted, it's not for everybody, but I recommend you go see it, just because even if this isn't necessarily your thing, at the end of the day, the sales and money that comes from these small independent releases factors into this person's next film. And in addition to that, what films we're going to get to see in the theaters now, because I've said it before, but like, for example, Terrifier 2 has kind of brought us here. The fucking mass success of that movie has brought us to be able to see all these other like low budget indie horror films coming to the theaters, and I kind of just want to keep doing that. Even if something's not for me, I want to keep this chain going, you know? And if you were somebody who pirated it, I highly recommend go fucking see it in the theater. Go, it's literally playing in like major theaters. I saw it at my local Arthouse because that's all that came here. However, I know it's hitting Cinemark, I know it's hitting Regal, and I know it's hitting AMC too. So go buy a ticket. If you didn't enjoy it, buy somebody else a ticket who might. And if you have like a Shudder subscription or something, even if you didn't like the movie, again, I mean, personally, I'm really excited to buy this movie just because it's fucking vibes, you know? So just have that shit on the background. Let those streams play so that our director can actually get, you know, the money that went into this movie. And I am extremely excited to see what else we get to see from Kyle Edward Ball. In addition to that, just what small horror comes to theaters from here on out. I guess the main thing I really want to drive home here is something that has been like a kind of a talking point discussion point on my channel before, is how I kind of fell into this whole rabbit hole of horror, and especially extreme horror. Not that SKINAMARINK is an extreme movie, because it's not, but what led me down the extreme rabbit hole is remembering that feeling of being scared as a child, of like watching a movie and kind of forever searching and chasing after that feeling again. And I feel like SKINAMARINK brought me there. It took me to that fear that kind of brought me back to being scared again at a movie, and scared like a kid again. And that's all from me here today. I've said enough that I can say without actually literally spoiling this movie. So I highly encourage all of you to please go support this movie, whether it be by, you know, going to go see it in theaters, buying the physical release when hopefully we get that, and or watching it on Shudder once it's streaming. And thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. If you had seen this movie, please let me know what your thoughts are in the comments and all that good stuff. This has been me, Ellie, aka Looks from the Crypt, and I am out.